And then if you're lucky enough to be from New York, you have a great choice in November for mayor of New York City. Mamdani, of course, the communist Muslim, is running for office to be your mayor in New York City. Good job. Good job. They'll vote him in, too. I would love to see Curtis Sliwa in there. I don't want to see Andrew Cuomo in there. But if it's a choice between Mamdani and Cuomo, no, even then, maybe I'm an accelerist. I think they call it, right? Accelerationist, where you hope someone like Mamdani gets elected and utterly destroys New York City in record time, irreparably. No money left. Everyone of any use has left the city already. And it is on such a downswing that it doesn't look like there's any way to fix it. People want Mamdani to get in as mayor because they are accelerationists. They want to speed up the process of destruction in New York City because you can't start to fix it until people even realize it's broken. And some people don't even know it's broken, or they think it's broken for another reason. You know, they think New York is broken because Trump. But it has to get so fucking bad that the dopiest, imbecilic person that voted for Mamdani goes, oh, shit, we are in a lot of trouble here. And then some people might be able to come in and go, are we done now? Are we ready to fix this mess? Even then, I don't think. I think there's still too many dummies in New York. But Mamdani's got some great policies here. He did an interview, and here's his thoughts on the NYPD gang database. We've had a gang database in New York since, I think, its inception. And with this, you have a resource in the NYPD that when someone is arrested for gang activity, they are put in the database. Tattoos, what they've done, gangs they're affiliated with, their charges. That way, when there's a gang violence or a murder, a gang-related murder in New York City, they have another database full of potential perpetrators to go through. And, boy, that sounds like simple, common sense that you would want your law enforcement agency to have a database of people that have committed violent gang crimes. Does Mamdani think so? Let's give it a listen and a view.
If city council legislation to abolish the NYPD gang database were to pass, would you support and sign that?
I have supported that proposal. It's one I've supported because of the vast dragnet has meant the inclusion of New Yorkers on the basis of whether they go out late, photos they put on social media.
Could you
so
pause?
Much of the
So he wants to abolish the NYPD gang database because, as he just said here, it covers too much. So there aren't just gang members in there. Zohran Mamdani, there's not just gang members. He's under the impression that you can be put on the gang database if you're out late or you post pictures on social media, that they will put you innocent New Yorkers. Maybe you went out to a late dinner with your best gal and you're coming home and it's late at night and the cops stop you. You're going to be in that gang database if things are the way Mamdani says they are. What a fucking lump of shit. A lying thief this guy is too. Because, no, they're gang members. You need to have really done something pretty nefarious in gang circles to be included in the gang database. Wouldn't you say? I'll tell you one thing. I guarantee he wants Proud Boys, put on some type of NYPD database, right? I'm sure Republicans, MAGA people, people who own guns, who buy ammo, he'd love to have them on some database for doing things that are completely legal. But gang members who have done horrific, violent murders, rapes, robbery, he doesn't want that because, hey, it's just people that stay out late. They're going to be put on the list. No, they're not. No, they're not. You're lying. Let's watch a little more.
The facts of life of being a young New Yorker, and yet it then becomes a mark of suspicion. And it is a concern of mine that we do not live up to, of all people, Eric Adams's words in 2021, who said that New Yorkers need not choose between safety and justice. Mm-hmm. There's no question that we have to take gangs extremely seriously.
Oh, extremely.
And yet I find that a database that includes New Yorkers on such bases is one that doesn't actually do exactly that.
Okay.
On such bases of what? Just staying out. Just you're out late. What are you going to do? Meanwhile, the people that he's talking about that are out late are gang members, because that's what he's talking about when he says young New Yorkers. Young white New Yorkers? What young New Yorkers are being stopped for being out late? You got him. He's right there. He is right there, ready to take office at Gracie Mansion and run your city. You just have to go to the polls in November and vote him in. He's right there. You'll do it, New York, because you're fucking stupid. You've proven that time and time again. All right, maybe Mamdani wants to reduce the number of New York City prisoners, because that sounds right away like something that will absolutely make the city streets and its public transportation system even safer than it is today, where people are being burned alive and pushed in front of trains and stabbed and shot and raped. So his idea is less people in New York's prison system. Maybe he explains it. I don't know. Let's listen.
The jail population of Rikers has increased since Eric Adams has come into office by more than 1,000 additional incarcerated New Yorkers. And
pause.
What is?
Did you catch that? Did you catch it? Because rewind it to the beginning again. And he calls prisoners inmates. He calls them incarcerated New Yorkers. He can't even bring himself to address these people as the criminals they are by calling them prisoners, inmates, things that we know is synonymous with being in prison. And you instantly know from hearing prisoner that they're in there, they have been through the judicial system, and they are prisoners. Saying incarcerated New Yorker, that's just a fellow New Yorker who happens to be incarcerated. It doesn't let you know as instantly that they are guilty of a crime, and that's why they are in prison. They are prisoners, incarcerated New Yorkers. Listen to how he says it.
The jail population of Rikers has increased since Eric Adams has come into office by more than 1,000 additional incarcerated New Yorkers. And what is quite staggering to me is that we know that we can reduce that jail population to less than 4,000. I mean, Vital City has an article about a number of different proposals that could reduce it to 3,700. And some of this also just has to look at the average stay on Rikers in the 90s was 50 days. Now it's more than 100. There are more than 1,500 people on Rikers who have been held there for more than a year. So I do think many of the reforms that have to be made are also reforms around the court system and ensuring that people are actually having speedy
trials, the court system. This guy is such a piece of shit and so unbelievably dangerous to the people in New York. He wants to get the population down with different programs. And you know what that is? That's just like the zero bail, letting them out. Imagine, with the way they let people out after they've committed serious crimes in New York City. Imagine that and the prison population going up. That's a lot of shit going on. And he wants to reduce that number. He'll be letting out even more violent criminals to fucking destroy New York City. We got another one here where he's talking with the great Reverend Al Sharpton on MSNBC, soon to be MSNOW, soon to be no viewers ever watching ever, because I can't imagine that they'll do better than MSNBC, and no one is watching that. So let's watch Reverend Al talk to Mamdani. The gist here is even Reverend Al says, well, what about the wealthy New Yorkers who don't like the idea of these programs and really don't like the idea of paying for Mamdani's programs? What's going to happen to them? Are they going to leave? And Reverend Al actually wants to know, what are you going to do for the wealthy New Yorkers to keep them in New York? Because someone's got to pay the bills. Watch.
You've been running on the platform of affordability fixes for New Yorkers, like a rent freeze you mentioned, free buses, city-owned groceries that made you popular with some working New Yorkers, but not so popular with real estate developers and the financial class. You were the only mayoral candidate to march alongside Martin Luther King III and I on our march on Wall Street about DEI on last week as we call for economic justice for all New Yorkers and all Americans. But right now, the top 1% earners in the city pay 40% of the city's income taxes, according to the Empire Center for Public Policy. How do you bring these wealthy residents to the table as mayor? Stop them from saying they're leaving, going to Florida, because we need that tax revenue to pay for some of the things
Good question, Reverend Al.
How do you pay for it if they're gone?
Well, the first thing I have to say is I was proud to be the only candidate for mayor at that march. And I was proud because some of the chants at that march, they were asking, is the dream alive?
Right.
Is Dr. King's dream still alive? And he asked the question decades ago, what good is having the right to sit at a lunch counter if you can't afford to buy a hamburger?
Right.
That's a question that New Yorkers are still wrestling with today in 2025. And so what I have put forward is a vision to make the most expensive city in the United States of America affordable. At a time when we have the wealthiest city, it is also one where 1 in 4 are living in poverty. And to your point, we have a number of New Yorkers who are doing quite well. The top 1% of New York City earns $1 million or more a year.
Could you pause for a second here, too? Because, why is there this perception, this delusion, that New York City needs to be affordable to any motherfucker that wants to live there? Where did that come from? Why do they speak like this and people listen and go, yeah, we need affordable this and affordable that? For what? So, there are some places you can't live. Why don't people talk about Beverly Hills like that or Bel Air? Why don't they talk about that? Like, we need affordable housing in places where, the likes of Bette Midler and Tom Hanks live. Oh, what about that? What about those neighborhoods? We need affordable housing there. Why is New York or any large city that is very industrialized, commercial, why is there this thought that people need to live there if they're broke? Yeah, the property's very expensive. Go to Jersey. Go to Long Island. Go to PA. Whatever it is. Sorry, New York is so expensive to live. It's just another place that maybe you're priced out of. And this thought that you're entitled to a residence in New York City that you can afford just because is ludicrous. Fucking crazy. All right, let's continue watching. Where will the money come from? Reverend Al saying that the rich people will leave New York, and who's going to pay the bills?
Vision is not one where they leave. It is one where they stay. It is
How do you get them to stay?
In part by showing them that asking them to pay more in taxes would increase even their quality of life. Because when you ask
Did you catch that, people? Did you catch that? Reverend Al reiterating, how are you going to keep them here? Like, yeah, I get it. How will the wealthy New Yorkers, what are you going to do to keep them here? His answer was to raise their taxes. That's the gift that Mamdani is going to give you if you are someone that can just afford to live in New York City. Because making $1 million in New York City, I'm sorry. It just, you look at the price of housing, food, everything in New York, having $1 million, especially if it isn't liquid, it's all of your assets put together. You really think hearing that we're going to raise your taxes is the thing that is going to keep wealthy New Yorkers in New York? Because as Mamdani said, even they will see that their lives are getting better. Really? Is it the more prisoners let out of prison on the streets part? Them paying more tax money so you can come up with programs that get violent offenders out of prisons and onto the New York streets? Is that what they're going to be ecstatic about paying more money for? Mr. Zohran Mamdani? Is that what it is? Is it the idea that the gang database gets wiped out of the NYPD's resource pile? Is that where the rich guys will go, oh, my God, Jay, take some extra. I know you raised them, but I just can't give you enough for the wonders you're doing for me as the mayor of New York. You dumb fuck. How does Reverend Al respond to this? Because I've only seen this part. I cut it off and I think I vomited after seeing him say the gift to the wealthiest New York City residents and business owners will be to tax them more. That will keep them anchored in the great city that is New York. Let me watch a little more of this.
New Yorkers, what is it that is making them feel uneasy in this city? You often hear from them about the cleanliness of our city, the safety of our city, the affordability of our city. We are not asking to raise these taxes for the sake of it. We're asking so that we can actually make the slowest buses in the country fast and free, so that we can actually create a Department of Community Safety that would deploy dedicated teams of mental health outreach workers to the top 100 stations of the highest levels of mental health crises and homelessness. That relationship proving that that tax dollar leads to that investment, because we know that it's not just a fiscal policy that takes somebody from New York City to somewhere else. Because a lot of New Yorkers, if they leave, they go to California, another high-tax state. They go to New Jersey, another high-tax state. Many people say they might go to Florida, but I have seen and heard from many New Yorkers concern about this new elimination of vaccine mandates in Florida that makes them question whether they would ever want to live there.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other states. And by the way, oh yeah, I can't imagine wealthy New Yorkers not wanting to open up their pocketbooks for programs that will put social workers out there to deal with the violent mental patient criminals that are out there. Because again, he doesn't want NYPD to actually do their job, or the other programs that he's talking about. Yeah, that's what wealthy New Yorkers, that's what they're looking for. That makes their life better. Oh, free buses? Free buses? Here, take it all. I'm going to make it rain on the New York City Tax Department's desk. Because everyone knows what the wealthiest of New Yorkers want is a comfortable bus. First of all, they don't even know what a bus is. If you're making money, you don't take the bus. You take an Uber or you take a cab. To make buses free, I've said this time and time again, you're taking away the one barrier, that fare that you have to pay to get on that bus is the only barrier between a commuter, someone going to a function to see family, friends, go get medical treatment or a prescription, from the savage animals that stab girls in the neck, push people in front of trains, cave their heads in, and rob them. That thin Metro card barrier. You ever see how thin a Metro card is? Ooh, it's like this thin. Yet it's the barrier between animals and people that wish they could live in a civil society. But Mamdani thinks rich New Yorkers are going to go, oh, he raised my taxes? What's he doing? Oh, free buses? Well, I can't dig deep enough for you. For your free traveling fucking Lord of the Flies. Your buses that'll look like something out of the Road Warrior now. Because you're taking away the barrier between civilization and fucking cavemen. He's right there, New York City. He's right there, right at the door. You just got to open it up like Dracula. He's got to be invited in, just like Dracula. And he's at the door. He's knocking. You can figuratively invite him into your house just by going to the voting booth in November and voting for Zohran Mamdani for your mayor. And I have no doubt you dumb fucking assholes will do it. Good luck, New York. I'll be up every so often to check it out. Head on a swivel, beer in my hand, laughing at your demise.